Good afternoon. Welcome to season 2, episode 16, Cattle Drive Live. CT, how are you, man?
Hey, I tell you what, Brett, we are doing great up here in South Dakota. Got a little rain over the weekend, some more than others, but it was pretty widespread, and there's a lot of happy people up here right now.
That's good. We could use a little bit of that ourselves down here. So the
Really?
wind was blowing. There was a guy told me the other day that farms next door to me that when the wind blows, it blows the rain away, and I'm beginning to think he's telling the truth.
Oh,
So
man.
I don't know. We are in dire need of some water for sure, but oh well. Hey, big episode tonight. Thanks to Matt Lautner Cattle for being an episode sponsor. And our corporate tonight, we have the pleasure of having Dr. Chris Cassidy with us here later on to visit about some Biozyme and Vita Ferm products and things that are important to our industry right now in terms of breeding season. So that'll be exciting to get to visit with him here after a while. But hey, what about this new website? thedrivemarketing.com is officially up and going. Paige has some way she's going to be able to kind of show us around here real quick, and we can visit with those following about exactly what's going on with the drive.
Yep. You can go to the website if you're interested in doing some advertising, either on the Monday night shows or just doing a drive episode for your sale or products. It's got all that detailed and highlighted on there, doesn't it, Brett?
It has it all. You're exactly right. Just from there, you can go to the cattle drive. There's a link on the cattle drive. You can find out a little bit about us and the thought process behind that, as well as you can click on the drive marketing and understand a little bit more about how to have a personalized setting with me and you. Right there, you can see she went right by the four corporate people we have for the year: 605 Sires, Vita Ferm, Shear Champ. There's a group of them, the Honor Show Chow with Bob May and John Geblinger, and the ever popular Griswold Cattle Crew is on here for the year as well. So those of you that's wondering about how to be involved with us, go to www.thedrivemarketing.com. So we're excited about that. So, hey, segment 1, the coffee shop, current events within ag. What you got cooking here, Corey?
Yeah, sales seasons are starting to slow down. They must. I see on Snapchat here this afternoon. The show circuit crew is out there in Vegas this week. I hope I could see Brad Otto and Dave Geyer waiting.
Yeah, that they were. And so that they were. Midwest show season. What's going on there right now? Are those guys still trying to have some jackpots up north? Or
there's some jackpot shows going on still. There's a couple of them in Minnesota last weekend, but they're starting to wind down. Here in South Dakota, they're about over with for the year until our big summer show, summer spotlight show. But how about down in your country? Still down there in Oklahoma, they got 3 every weekend, don't they?
Well, you got to get south of the Red River for that. Those guys in Texas, when they fire up, they just show them. I mean, they don't ever quit, really, but it is the start of the new season. Guys have just recently bought fallborns, and, some of the breeding cattle guys like myself shear them off and take a rain check on showing them this early. But those prospects, they're out and about every other weekend or so here in Oklahoma. But the big thing for us in our country now is those guys that have fall programs, they're getting ready to have those summer bred heifer sales for these fallborns. And so a guy doesn't think about that, but we think of bred heifer sales being in November, December, January for them springs. But hey, those guys can sell them in June, July, just like they can in December. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you bet. So breeding season, it's here. 605. I'm guessing it's probably hopping, trying to get stuff out. MLC crew, I know, is busy trying to get shippers out as well. So
you bet. That time of year.
Yeah. Do you notice, like when we talk about breeding and shipping and things like that, do you notice that being do you just have shippers going everywhere? I mean, I'm going to ask Matt and Michelle that here in a little bit, but does shippers just go everywhere, or does it seem like it moves in regions?
No, I can't say they might breed earlier out. I guess east of the Mississippi, they probably breed earlier than we do in the Midwest.
Gotcha.
But it still seems like everybody's flushing cows, and nowadays with IVF, you're shipping a unit or two here or there year round. It seems like.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Good deal. Well, like we said, sale report this week brought to us usually by CCI Live. There was one good sale that they had reported to us. We don't have the full sale. We're going to give that next Monday. But the Donors Unlimited sale out at Dr. Mims's in Hereford was on Sunday. We're going to get you a full report for that next week and in detail. So pretty big deal for the South market for sure. But this time we're going to bring in Dr. Chris Cassidy with Vita Ferm. Hey, Doc, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing great.
Good to have you. So, how's things in the Biozyme world?
Good. Actually, been some really exciting times, and we just had our Q2 sales meeting last week, and things are going great. We launched a new product last March, that Sure Tramp Extreme with Clarify, and things are going really, really well. So it's a lot of exciting times for us.
Good. Corey, you guys handle a lot of Vita Ferm products there in South Dakota.
Yep, we do. We're starting to move through a lot of mineral. It's that time of year. Lot of protein tubs. Some guys a little bit short on feed, or the price of corn, and some of those protein products are up, and so we're going through a lot of lick tubs and a lot of that breeding mineral right now is what we're selling a lot of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's the cool thing about this time of year is just, whether you're AI or flushing or whatever, these mineral programs do kind of play a pretty integral role in the success of what you're trying to do. And so, our partners like you guys that are helping us move this product are very, very beneficial. And so we thank you as well. I just wanted to kind of mention a few things about just the Vita Ferm line a little bit and how it fits in this point of the production cycle as far as just breeding season goes. One thing that I think is the most unique part about Vita Ferm is what people don't realize is that it's actually more than just a mineral. We're the only company that includes a prebiotic called Amaferm that's in our that's basically the backbone of our company, if you will. And from a mineral perspective, it's about the only one on the market that has this powerful prebiotic mixed into it. So when you're putting it out there, it's got two products in one. And so from the mineral side, like you guys were talking about, we don't least cost formulate. We formulate for quality at 2.5 times NRC. So our minerals are offered in the organic form fortified with vitamin E. So that's gives you a real quick boost in terms of reproductive tract repair, which we all kind of know, whether you're flushing or AI, and is really, really important to get that repaired after that calving season into this critical time point. And so the flip side, or the opposite side of the coin for this, is that Amaferm advantage, like we talked about, and it basically promotes intake, digestion, and absorption. And so I think it's really relevant times like this where half the United States is going through a pretty severe drought. Like Corey was saying a minute ago, some places are already a little scarce in terms of forage availability or crude protein content, and that a little extra boost that's within that mineral helps those cows stay in shape and get them bred. So it's really, really important. It's something that we feel very confident about. We've got research on it that actually showed a survey a few years ago where the cattle that were fed Conceptaid actually beat the national average in terms of pregnancy rate by 3%. Wow. So you think about the markets now, even just a feeder calf worth $800 to $1,000 a piece. I mean, it's crazy just what that extra calf is worth. So I know that in my operation back at home in Illinois, in conjunction with our partners, the Dameron family in Lexington, we've fed this product for 20 some years and have seen great results with it. So we're excited to be part of your broadcast tonight and talk a little bit about it, especially with what you got on the docket tonight.
Absolutely. We've been through this as we've dubbed it the evolution series, talking about how these guys have evolved the modern day club calf genetics from start to present day. And a lot of people, when they talk about mineral, it's the cow. But I would say it's equally important or more in terms of semen production and getting those cows settled in a timely manner for these guys to be thinking about mineral programs for these herd bulls.
No, absolutely. And so that's the other side of the coin that a lot of people kind of forget about, right? Every time that the cow comes open or doesn't flush good or flush well or to your expectations, it's always her fault, right?
Right.
And so on the bull side, especially if you're trying to, get them through stud and get semen moved where you want to make an impact in this industry, even products like Conceptaid with the way it's formulated on the trace mineral side, it supplies organic levels of zinc, and organic levels of zinc in research have actually shown to improve semen quality. And that would be very paramount for what we're trying to do on the seed stock and show cattle industry.
And we've seen that firsthand from the bull side of things. We get those mature bulls that come in, in the spring and fall. And, a lot of guys just don't think, they just let their bulls rough it after they pull them off cows, and they don't have mineral feeders out for those bulls. And they come in and have low mortality, just poor semen quality overall. And just we put a lick tub, a stress tub out with them, either that or force feed them a little Conceptaid. And it's amazing how fast those bulls will come around in 2 weeks on good mineral.
Yeah, and like I said, the way that it's formulated at 2.5 times the National Research Council's requirements, it gives you that immediate, quick impact. So it's really, really critical, especially if we're, trying to accomplish our goals.
You bet. Well, Chris, we enjoyed having you tonight. Thanks for the info, man, and we'll try to get you back on here soon.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Have a great night.
All
You
right,
too.
take
Thank
care.
you. You always got to like a company that has a good product and they stand behind it, especially this time of year. So,
You bet. Absolutely.
Well, this evolution series has been one that I got to give you credit, Corey. When we started this, I didn't know it would be quite this popular. I obviously come from a seed stock background, a non-club calf driven background. So yes, I see this. Yes, I keep up with this some, not as in depth as you. I had no clue the amount of people that would text and call on a Tuesday and say, "Holy cow, that was awesome. You guys could have talked 2 more hours to Bob May or 2 more hours to whoever the case." Dean Kephart, I think he would still be talking if we'd have let him. But kudos to you, man. I didn't realize, but tonight, hey, we have got the Matt Lautner with us. Matt Lautner Cattle's crew is with us tonight. There's Matt and Michelle. How are y'all? It is the big show himself.
Hey, before we get going here, I just heard Mr. Cassidy going on, and Michelle, who's our local Vita Ferm rep? I can't hear her. Is her mic on?
Oh, she may be muted.
Oh, sorry. Andy Granger is our Vita Ferm, or Grimes, I believe.
So anyways, we buy that stuff by the pallet, and I think he's delivered 2 since the 1st of February, 2 pallets. And we believe in the Vita Ferm really good, and I guess it just goes hand in hand with your previous guest. And
Right.
My wife's really starting to raise them good. I've said it before, but I got to say it here on the Cattle Drive Live, my favorite Facebook show. Michelle, you're doing a good job, honey. Good job.
There you go. Hey, talk to us real quick.
Oh, and by the way, sorry, Brett, one more thing. This is my trucker set. I started podcasting about 13 days ago, and the one complaint about my show was too much echo, and we're recording on the road, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway, but this old $250 trucker set from Flying J, these truckers got it figured out. They know how to do it. Yeah.
The trucker said, he said. Yeah, the big show when you guys appeared on the podcast scene, you put her in trucker mode. I mean, you have flat covered some territory. So.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do 1 hour shows, and I don't think that. Oh, Kevin Mears, my buddy from Ohio, who is my executive producer, says that I have attention deficit disorder, and I think my wife would agree. But I can only do about 5 to 15 minutes before I have to cut her off. But I say that, and Kevin went an hour long with Barry Ryman today on the big show, so y'all need to check that out.
Yeah, you bet. Michelle, what's going on around the MLC office? Matt's out beating the bushes, looking at cattle and visiting with people, and I know you stay busy at home. Tell us about what goes on in the office.
We send out several tanks all over the U.S. We have about 130 shippers that, all week long it's busy shipping. So we have to do.
I would say one thing that I've noticed, I'm sure that Corey and 605 have plenty of shippers, but I just had a customer call into a semen distributor, and they said there was a 10-day wait on shippers, and I guess it is what it is. Not everybody has 130, and we've made that investment. And if you are needing semen next day air or 2 days later, I mean it's dependable, and we sure don't mind that we got that many of them. I guess we bought them in the year of the COVID, whenever the whole world shut down, and now that we have them, we're able to use them and utilize them each year.
Yeah,
That's
that was
awesome.
a crazy year of COVID.
Wow. I was just asking Corey about that. I want to ask you two. Matt, you start and you head east. You loop back, and now the other day you were headed towards Minnesota. Do you guys notice the semen distribution? Is it all over the place all of the time, or is it, Michelle? Do you notice that it moves in a certain manner?
So I've noticed over the past couple of years, people are starting to order semen earlier and earlier, which is,
I gotta say, they gotta, when you're breeding the here I am line of genetics, you have to breed earlier and earlier. And I'm not. It is what it is. I got some here I am sons, but honestly, whenever we started 10, 15, 20 years ago, a February and March born calf could get the job done. But if you want to compete, it seems like the Decembuaries are starting to gain favor.
Decembuaries, I gotcha. I've heard of those being.
We start sipping pretty heavily, like March 1st kind of kicks off, and then all through the summertime, and then into the fall. It's pretty much year round here. Right.
Do you notice that? Do you still send a lot of stuff on farm, or have you noticed an increase in IVF ET work? On in terms of shipping.
I think the big boys are definitely doing a lot more of that IVF work, but we work with a lot of people that do the old-fashioned AI, and damn sure happy that they do.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. There's way more semen to be sold that way. I just always wondered, for us personally, we still AI a lot of cows, but we turn out a lot of herd bulls here too, and a majority of ours is ET work. So I just didn't know how the rest of the country was. So, but
yeah, absolutely.
Hey, let's talk about this bull business at the MLC. Matt, Bleeding Purple. We had visited right before the show. We seem to think, was that probably your very first promotion bull?
Yeah, either that one or a bull called Storm Chaser. Can't remember which this long ago, but it's 2003, 2004 time frame, and had Bleeding Purple, and the bull has really stuck. Honestly, he died the fall of his rookie year down in Leeson, Texas, and a wheat bloat or something like that. And it is what it is. You got livestock, you're going to sometimes have mess ups like that, but came in strong with Monopoly in the second year. Both those bulls were Heatwave Angus's. If you would ask me back then, at that time period, everybody that we talked to, like the year before that, I believe my cousin Dax had a bull called Rockstar, and you'd talk to folks and they would say you can't breed Heatwave to an Angus and get enough power for a show steer, and maybe they were right, but he seemed Monopoly himself seemed to stick long term, and I guess so did Bleeding Purple. I mean, he's probably done more in the heifer side, but hey, Max. But I guess both those were Heatwave Angus crosses.
Right. So tell me something with the success Bleeding Purple had in such a short amount of time of him being here. Did that encourage you to get on the road and go find one of those Heatwave Angus derivative sires?
I think the most interesting story I could tell about Bleeding Purple is whenever a bull dies in a lot of operations, you'll see him pull that semen off the market and try to, elevate the price and try to make that semen last. And I guess for whatever reason, well, darn sure, we just went through it with Outsider. We'll just keep that semen at an affordable price. I think I sold out on Bleeding Purple in a year or two after he died. And 10 years later, I wished I would have kept a little bit for myself because it brings $800-900 a straw sometimes online. But I do think that you can breed them better year after year, and I don't see much value in kind of trying to, just elevate the price to an unreasonable rate, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Probably one of the most unique animals that I ever had around was the Vickland Bleeding Purple heifer. That's back when I just started helping Patty. She won Louisville, and she was really, really good.
Yeah, I just bought a Bleeding Purple Hootaman heifer from GR Peart in Utah 2 springs ago, and we're just getting ready to kind of bring her into the embryo program, and haven't really decided what we're going to take her to yet. We'll probably give her another year, but this time next year we'll have some Bleeding Purple eggs out of a Hootaman cow going into I would imagine No Guts or one of them Carney Man or something like that.
Right, exactly. So we talked about your first bull. Did you know? I mean, did you know from an early age that this would be your path? Did you know that I'm going to be the MLC I am today? I'm going to trade semen. I'm going to be a bull owner. I mean, talk to us about. You didn't just appear with Monopoly. It didn't appear with those bulls. Talk about that path.
I guess. I lived in town with my mom until I was about a freshman or sophomore in high school, and didn't have any intentions of doing anything with cattle. And then, I mean, honestly, the story goes, my old man bought me a $2,500 steer from Roger Haney, a payback. It was my sophomore year going into my junior year, and I had won his class at the Winter Beef Expo in Iowa, and had a little window air conditioning unit in our show barn. And it kept it about 7 degrees cooler inside the room than outside the room. So on a 90-degree day, you keep it at 83, no problem. But I mean, honestly, I didn't know what I was doing, just to be real honest with you. But I kind of got some coaching from Phil and probably a couple of other people on how you grow hair. And I guess did good enough to put him in. I mean, if you look at the picture now, he kind of looks atrocious, honestly. But he was good enough to win, I guess. So that's all that matters. And from that standpoint, I won the state fair in 1998. And I guess, to be honest, from that standpoint, or from that day on, I was kind of hooked on show cattle. It just it's exciting to meet new people, and from that standpoint, showed a couple more years. Never got another big win. I guess I had champion in 2000 with Brian Martin steer at Arizona National. But then this is the best part of it. In 2001, whenever I graduated, my old man buys Chance a brand new $20,000 cooler. I mean, I got a window air conditioner. Chance has got a $20,000 cooler. He must that's why we called him the Golden Child. And I named the bull after him way back then. I think my third bull is called the Golden Child.
And that was named after your brother?
Yeah. I mean, it's all in fun. I love Chance to death, but I always called him Goldie. You probably won't like me saying that online, but it is what it is.
I'm not siding with you there, but we've got a Golden Child in our family too. We needle on a little bit, so it's okay.
He's a good fella. I like him a lot.
I seem to think Corey is a Golden Child. I mean, I may be wrong, but I seem to think so. No,
I don't know about that.
you
I
know,
don't think that's the case.
I got you. See, but when you talk about your early years, you talk about after you got done showing a few weeks ago, we were fortunate to have Ranch House Designs on, and she credited you and the LP as projecting her career in the right way. You were probably early in the social media marketing in terms of this business. I would say you were a trailblazer with her. Talk about that. Talk about your marketing. You've never wavered off the social media path.
Yeah, I mean, just to tell the complete story, shortly after I graduated, I went to community college for a year, and then I went to Ames, and somehow I think chance is one of them years, 2001 time frame. He had a heat wave payback steer maybe from Bob Hine, and anyways, we were at the Illinois Beef Expo, and I met Troy Palliak, and for better or worse, Troy changed my life. We ended up selling some calves together in 2001, 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there, 3 or 4 years, and he operates out of Zenda, Wisconsin, and I spent a lot of falls up there. I don't know what it is about my personality type, but I always just kind of like to do things on my own and didn't want much help. And so, my dad had a darn nice show barn, but just wanted to try and do my own thing. And that's why I have respect for them boys, Baylor, Bonham, and Stock Martin, because they're trying to do their own thing. You just want to blaze your own path, I guess. But moving on to 2005 through 8 time frame, yeah, I did meet Rachel, and she's a brilliant marketing mind. I appreciate, I sometimes will occasionally call her once a year to run a marketing idea by her. But I have a small group of friends outside of my wife that I'll lean on to, I spend a lot of time on the road, and this podcasting deal has been unique because I'm able to do it while I'm driving down the road. But outside of the podcasting, Rachel's one of the probably top 5 people in terms of just, she always knows what's going on in terms of marketing stuff.
Right. Yep. You bet. You bet. So talk about that. You were the first with a blog that I know of. In terms of a marketing blog, I know there was guys we've listened to Dean Kephart talk about blazing the path and going and visiting guys and delivering semen in the back of a Western hauler, and you've taken that and elevated it, and just in terms of you take people with you, not to copy anybody else, but if you follow Matt Lautner cattle. You do enough social media throughout the day that I don't have to leave Stratford, and I feel like I've been to 7 farm visits and saw calves out of 3 different bulls, and I think that's exactly what you're looking for in terms of people to know what's going on. So, is that something you feel that's important, or displaying those bulls is the most important thing you do?
You're never going to meet just the personal relationships that you build throughout the years. I've been going, I've had a route that probably set up 15 or 16 or 17 years ago, and I don't go to every person every year, but it's pretty much similar to what it was 10 or 15 years ago. And just to tell the story completely, I always did, like with Rachel and then with Stephanie Cronin, Stephanie Steck now, always did a lot of website updating, just because it seemed like the best way to get your message out there. And I did website updating so much that it was just like, dang, I wished I could figure out a way that I could just update my website myself.
Right.
So I think Michelle and Ashley Oliver, that's a name I hadn't said in a long time. Charlie Wilson's girlfriend set up a Blogspot account. It was probably pretty honky looking back then, but it got the job done. I was able to take pictures and load them from my cell phone, and it evolved into a website format rather than just a blog. I think that Wade's deal is still like a Blogspot, and that'd be like the original platform that we were using back then. So yeah, I mean, it's still useful, that blog spot, but we went to a WordPress, I believe it is, and that way it looks kind of appears more like a website format. It's got our bulls listed on it. And I mean, nobody looks at it anymore, as you can just tell by the view numbers on some of the videos and stuff. There used to be, on a different video that it could get 2,000 to 4,000 views. Now those same videos would probably get 200 to 600 views, just so you could see how probably less people are surfing the web than they were 10 years ago, 12 years ago. But it's branched out, and we do it on, all the social media, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and my favorite new toy is TikTok. And I think that the Cattle Drive Live is a 90,000 view video on my TikTok page. Congrats, boys.
90,000 views. And interesting. Do you think those view numbers of those videos is down because social media is so broad now? We're used to it was Facebook.
There's more people online right now, so I would say, it's like one day Roland Shoemaker or Eldon Miller woke up, and I mean no disrespect when I say it, nobody looks at magazines anymore, and they still put out a magazine. I know Show Circuit does, I advertise in it, but and it still reaches that sunset audience, if you will. But I don't think there's probably a lot of people under the age of 50 that just sit by the mailbox and wait for their Show Circuit to arrive like maybe they did back in the 1990s. I believe I heard Corey Thompson at one point, I don't remember when, say he used to wait for that magazine to come in the mail.
He did. I was just lucky whenever that thing first come around. I couldn't wait. OYE, they would deliver it to Oklahoma Youth Expo, and that thing would be this thick. And during the steer show, I was a heifer guy, so during the steer show, I looked at 700 pages of Show Circuit magazine. It was awesome.
My best guess would be that Snapchat and TikTok are the top 2 social media platforms right now, just because we have about 10,000 followers on Snapchat. And that's not a bunch. We have more on Facebook, but just get more interactions. People texting me or snapping me or whatever you want to call it. Interactions throughout the day as I'm traveling, on a calf they see on my timeline or whatever it may be. And my wife is the biggest TikTok fan in the world, so I know that's popular too.
Be nice. I have a video that's higher than yours, pal.
Hey,
yeah, you have a video that's higher than the Cattle Drive Live boys. I think you have an 800,000 view video, little glitter video with Euphoria music playing in the background.
Wow.
Yeah, you hated TikTok. Now you love it. So get off my case.
800,000.
I got 11,000 followers since the 1st of February, Michelle. I think you're only at 4.
Oh,
I haven't been posting much.
I create a lot of I create a lot of content. I mean, whether that be the podcast or, I mean, it's just part of my spring routine. I honestly, I'll go home and I'll take my kids swimming in the backyard this summer, but I like to be fishing on the road, and I doubt there's too many people that get more shit done throughout the day in the spring than I do. And I'm just maybe I'm wrong. I start at 6 and I go to bed at 10, and I'm either social media or selling some straws or looking at some calves or doing something basically all day, and I love it. I mean, I don't want to do it when I'm 50, but I sure enjoy it here in my 40s.
Yeah, there you go. So, hey, let's get in here. Corey, talk to us. Let's get this thing fired up and move this evolution on and talk about the importance of Monopoly in this evolution.
Where did you stumble onto Monopoly? I don't even know this story here.
Oh, Corey, you're going to watch this episode twice, I promise you. So, anyways, the bull was located in Beloit, Wisconsin, and a young lady, well, not a young lady, maybe 60-year-old lady by the name of Chris Gestrich raised her. And Chris was a tremendous lady. She actually passed away several years ago under unfortunate circumstances. And anyways, the bull had a red ear tag in his ear, and that ear tag said Hot Shot, and little old Hot Shot went on to be Monopoly. So the year before, my buddy Troy Palahniuk had a bull called Headliner, that is Monopoly's full brother, and yeah, I mean, that's how we became aware of him. And Beloit is about 30 miles from Zenda, Wisconsin. And the bull got sold on June 1st, 2006. How in the heck could I remember that, right? But he got bid off on June 1st, 2006 for $39,750. And me and old Phil Lautner bought him together. And it was a good investment for both of us. He's done a lot of good and had a nice little run. And now the females seem to be kind of all the craze. I had Blaine Rogers call me yesterday, and he said he was specifically flushing original Monopoly to some cow to make some females to try and raise that next generation club calf mother. But if you ask me, I think they ought to try Jumpstart back on a club calf mother. I think that's where it's at.
Right.
What was his mother? Where did she originate from?
Okay, the farm name is Stockridge Farms. That is Chris Gestrich and her son Nate. And now Nate runs the operation. The cow was a Century Touchstone Angus. I don't think that I'm getting that crossed up with Bleeding Purple. And anyways, just a nice big barreled bull that had some extra foot size and a tremendous hair coat. I guess I've told this story before. I hate to retell stories on podcasts, but Monopoly's display year, it was about 0 degrees, probably 10 below actually in Denver that year. And we were blowing the calves out up on the hill, and had somebody come by me as we were bringing the bull back down into the yards and ask if that bull was one of them miniature Angus, because he was a short little chubby sucker, kind of like old Dwayne Hilbert used to like him.
There you go.
I remember that year in Denver. That was before you started.
Yeah, it was cold.
What's
Not
that?
good. We attempted to wash in the yards that year, and icicles would form on their body instantly, on their ears and stuff. So
it never got to 0 the whole week in the yards. It was miserable son of a gun.
Right. Matt, when Monopoly hit the scene, you said that Polyock had a brother to him the year before, Headliner. You hit the scene. You and Phil hit with Monopoly the next year. Were you confident in that bull's ability that day when you showed up with that bull? No. Okay. You're lying.
So, anyways, Monopoly came out the same year. I'm sure Corey knows these stories, but it's fun to talk about old stories. You need to be on my podcast, Corey. Monopoly's rookie year, Leroy Brown sold for $43,000 out of the pasture at Leroy Beetlesbachers. And why did they call the bull Leroy Brown, Corey? Not because he is from Leroy. It was because he is a mean SOB. Bad Leroy Brown. Anyways, my boy Stan Ackerman, who's passed away, had a tough time with Leroy Brown on display that year. But anyways, that wasn't the only high dollar bull. That was a $43,000 one, Leroy Brown, and then there was $77,000 Jimmy the Greek. So Jimmy the Greek, Leroy Brown, and Monopoly were all in the same pen in the second run in my dad's barn there back in 2007. And I didn't know what I was doing at that point. It was all just luck, to be honest with you. And he wasn't as stout as Leroy Brown or Jimmy the Greek. He was probably bigger footed than both, and maybe a little bit shorter spined and shorter backed. And I guess I think he's the best one of that trio now, 15 years later. I think I can confidently say that. Yeah.
I would say you can confidently say that.
Yeah.
But actually,
I mean,
Jimmy,
like I say though, that was all luck, and I would like to say that like Monopoly's accidental rise to prominence came right whenever the Facebook deal and blogging was kind of taking over the internet scene, and that was probably the most fortunate part of the deal is I was able to build my business and buy 70 shipper tanks and accumulate 20 or 30 bulls over the course of 5 years because of Monopoly's success. And then when his sales started to fade, we still had, we had our legs underneath us by that point, if you know what I mean.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That first year or so that you traveled, did you sell a bunch of juice on him right out of the gate?
I couldn't remember. Like Michelle said, we were pretty stone aged in terms of our paperwork back then, but darn sure, if I had to guess, I bet we sold 500 or 600 units of semen on them his first year.
I got you. See, hmm. That bull not only was a terminal sire and used that way, but he had a big influence in the show heifer world as well. I mean, which one of those do you feel like attributed to his success to help push the thing along? Was it his success in the heifer world, or was it the success he had in the state fair run that he took off on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in year 2 of the bull, which would be his first calf crop, he quickly identified himself as kind of a stud. My boy Ryan Bates from the western side of Colorado had a sweet little monopoly calf that we pictured and put in the show circuit. I think it was the April edition of the show circuit that year. And that picture, I should have sent it to you before the broadcast, but that picture probably just allowed me, that was a different time, but that picture allowed me to kind of get a foothold, and everybody was kind of asking about them as I traveled, and probably sold a cane to nearly every stop that I made that year in year 2. And then moving on to, the steer and heifer comparison, I would say probably not in that same spot today with the top sires in terms of having useful females to that level. There's no doubt that some of those heifers can still do it no matter what the bull they're out of. But it just seemed like even at an early age in his career, Monopoly's daughters were, well, they're half Angus, the bull's half Angus. So there's just some extra maternal in there. And the question I would say early in Monopoly's career, to be frank, was are the steers stout enough? So I don't remember exactly how many it might not have been until the second year there was like a major fat steer champion that won. And turn that off real quick. But I'd say the heifers were always a no-brainer in terms of appeal. I would honestly say that the steers, it was up in the air whether they're going to be stout enough.
Gotcha. Yeah. One thing those we're ready to go. Hey, early on, there he is. Hey, so one thing about that bull that probably benefited him as much as anything is the business went from muscle and power about that time, where that was the number one key, till we started bringing some body depth back in these things and some structure. And that bull did that as good as anything on the market in my eyes.
Honestly, I would say cow families and bulls create the market. The market doesn't. I'm saying you pose that like maybe the judges changed their mind, but it was actually Monopoly just being a more consistent sire than Heatwave in terms of that. Just, I think Corey might agree that you breed 10 straws of Heatwave, you breed 10 straws of Monopoly. You might get one best Heatwave steer, but the calves 8 through 9 or 1 through 8 are going to be better out of Monopoly, I guess, just in terms of depth of quality. So the consistency and the depth is why Monopoly probably ended up taking out Heatwave. And, you move on through time, and here I am through some of those same consistent traits in definitely a different pattern. And that's probably why Monopoly exited stage left,
Right. Well, but you can't really say that he exited stage left just yet, because I would say a majority of what we're seeing today of those sired cattle is back out of these good Monopoly females. So
you betcha. There's nothing better than a good Here I Am Monopoly cross, just like I am here.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, what about your buddy? He's with us tonight. Is Brandon still with us somewhere?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing, old buddy?
There he is.
Yeah. Brandon, good to have you on Cattle Drive tonight with Corey and Matt and myself. You've kind of been right there along with Matt the last 10, 12, 14 years, you say. Kind of catch us up to speed a little bit on what you've seen these bulls do.
Well, I guess going back to Monopoly, I had a pretty good cowboy tell me that every great show steer has Monopoly on the top or bottom side somewhere. And if you get to going, I say that's a fairly true statement for dang sure on that deal. But yeah, just through the years, I mean, I can remember like I guess Monopoly's first state fair winner was Ohio State Fair. The McIntosh family had him down there, Grant McIntosh at that time, and that was a heller of a good one. And then just being out on the road, I did that for quite a while, everywhere from West Virginia all the way to California. And I guess probably there's 2 or 3 calves out there I remember that when you see them, they just hit you hard. And I know probably till this day, one of the best prospect steers I ever seen in my life was that Hodge steer that was a Monopoly from Frank Ward's out there on that 618 Deja Vu cow. His, to this day, I can remember that calf walking around the field. And so yeah, the Monopoly has just been, it was amazing. And you still find great ones. I had a guy tell me today, Monopoly is still his go-to bull. So,
right. Matt, you
catch up
real quick about the Here I Am Monopoly deal. When Monopoly was in the driver's seat in the steer world, what was the maternal side there that was a slam dunk in your mind? All the miles you made.
Irish whiskey. Monopoly Irish whiskey cross is similar to a Heat Wave Who Made Who cross, similar to an I Am Here out of an I-80 cross, and similar to a King Cobra back on a clubby bred cow like the Monopoly that raised $140,000 steer, Brian Martins, or the General Lee that made my wife and me look like we know what we're doing raising cattle. Grand Minnesota, Grand in Illinois in the open show. I've answered these questions all spring long, so I'm ready for you.
Yeah, no, that you are. That you are. Yeah, but the Monopoly whiskey deal, I would say, still to this day is pretty prevalent. Those guys still rave about that cross was just almost a slam dunk.
Yeah, I mean, if you gave the top 10 feeders in the country, you can debate on who that would be. But if you gave them equal calves of the same quality but different sires, I would say a lot of them probably still would go with Monopoly. But they don't get bred as much anymore, and that is okay. Life goes on, and I can't wait for the next chapter.
Right. Well, I don't know about waiting on the next chapter. You don't really sit around waiting on much. You've already moved on to the next chapter here a little bit in terms of staying in the forefront and continually buying bulls and things. It's an every year deal for you. I mean, you didn't just rest on one bull. What's coming down the pike here at Matt Lautner Cattle today that's got you excited?
Yeah, I told you favorite matings on I Am Here in King Cobra. And for clean show steer bulls, I sure think that No Guts, No Glory on a bigger framed, flatter shouldered cow that's a carrier. I mean, we're going to use him for many years to come. And I mean, he's just like any other bull. You got to find the right cow for him. But, they feed good for us. We've probably had a half a dozen fat steer champions out of them in the three or four fat steer seasons. And then Carney Man would be another clean bull. Here I Am, strictly business from Ward Eckloff that is going to quadruple in terms of sales this year. Many people thought that I had my marketing plan set up too much around No Guts, No Glory, and kind of Carney Man fell through the cracks a little bit, but he's kind of making a resurgence here. He's 4-year-old bull, so third year on the market, and it's pretty exciting to recreate that Here I Am Monopoly cross on a dirty cow with Carney Man. Same sort of situation though. Here I Am, clean Here I Am back on a Monopoly cow. Those cattle are going to be really, really outstanding.
Right. What do you have in terms of heifer bulls today? What is it that excites you there?
Yeah, I mean, Jumpstart's got a very, very fun run with us so far. Good story to tell behind him. Really high quality cow that he's out of, Riverstone Charmed, and I guess he is a full brother to this heifer that won Louisville this year for Sarah Sullivan. And not only that, but another maternal sister to Jumpstart was champion in Houston for the Gaston family. So one cow, Riverstone Charmed, has the Grand All Breeds heifer in Louisville, Grand All Breeds heifer in Houston. Has that ever happened before? You guys are more show heifer people than I am.
Not that I'm aware of, Corey.
I mean, we're not just talking like a breed champion. This is all breed shows. It's pretty exciting, and I'm sure that there'll be another son of Riverstone Charm come along. But the bull's got to prove himself, but he's going to get a chance in terms of show heifers. And also, I've been having my guys take 5 or 10 straws to their second calvers and beyond to try to make. I think if you mate Jumpstart to a longer fronted female that's a carrier, you're going to kind of recreate that maternally sired female that's got a little shot of club calf in the background, similar to the Hoodaman 6651 of Sully's or some of these style primos style heat waves or primo heat waves. Just a shot of maternal on the front with a club calf influence on the backside. I think they're going to be awesome club calf mothers. I'm sure that some people watching won't agree with me, but as a bull was once named many, many years ago from South Dakota, hide and watch.
There you go. Hide and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it.
Ken Veldkamp. Isn't that right?
Dan Young, right? Or
No,
Dan
yeah.
Young?
Kevin Veldkamp raised him, but Dan Young owned him. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, I got to give you kudos for 2 things.
Let's hear it.
Number 1, best steer I've ever seen in my life was a red steer. RJ and I were coming home from Oklahoma. After we got done with fall heifer season, we stopped by Steve Bonham's. Looked at his steers there at the end of March. There was a red steer walked across the pen. I told RJ that's the best calf I've ever seen in my life. That calf, it went on to Denver. The day in Denver, I said, that's the best steer I've ever seen in my life. And you sell that calf to Bonham, and he was a monopoly.
Sold him to Geyer, yeah.
What kind of cow? Or you sold him to Geyer?
Yeah, it was a monopoly out of Crimson Tide's full sister. I believe that'd be Harry Bear, purebred shorthorn. The purebred shorthorn actually came from Tyler Melro up there in northern South Dakota. That's where his family used to be from. And that was a heifer that me and Troy bought together, and Phil ended up buying off of us. But he sold those Sneddons. The name is Dan Sneddon from Ogden, Iowa. His family bought that female that would be Red Rocky, the steer's mother, from Phil for $4,250 in a pasture sale they had, maybe the first year or two that Phil was down in Adel. And so whenever that steer wins in 2015, my boy Brad Otto called Dan Sneddon and said, "Hey, you want to sell that cow?" It was like right after the show or somewhere in there, and Dan had to tell him that cow had passed away the winter previous. But that sort of stuff always happens. Dang it!
Wow. So that's steer. Wait a minute, Corey, and both of y'all, because catch me up a little bit here. Is that the steer?
So Red Rocky, the steer, sold to Geyer, and then Geyer ended up taking him down to Steve. And I did hear a lot of stuff on that calf down at Steve's in the spring of 2014. He goes on to win Denver in January 2015. And then Phil Lautner bought him Clone Punch. And Steve and Baylor kept, a third semen interest. And anyways, the steer goes on to be a bull. And Phil, you got to give the man credit for this. He cloned that steer as a baby or in the spring of 2014. So Red Rocky clone, maybe this story got told last week, but Red Rockies, I didn't watch yet. I'm going to. Red Rocky clones were born maybe a week or 2 after Denver when the steer won. And I think that's happened one other time in Phil's career. The Solid Gold deals won maybe Houston, and Phil had clones that were born a week or 2 after Houston that year that the Solid Golds were born.
Wow.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right, Corey, you said there was 2. That was 1. What's the second one?
Let me finish the Red Rocky story real quick. So here we are in 2022, and 7 years after the steer won Denver, the steer sires the grand steer at Louisville, and you know what's coming next, Brett Carter. He sires the reserve grand champion steer at Fort Worth. Congratulations,
Okay.
Nelson England and Todd Shireman. I'm proud of you
There
guys.
go. Yeah,
There was a little
absolutely.
confusion about that on the
Well,
internet,
still,
but
how
it's
many
no
years?
big deal. Way to
7
apologize to
years?
Todd Shireman.
7 years after the bull win, after 7 years after the steer wins Denver, he sires those two, right?
Yeah. And just to be
Gotcha.
clear, way to apologize to Todd Shireman. There was just confusion on the seller's side of that steer at Fort Worth after the show. It's no big deal. Everybody's got it straightened out now.
Right. Gotcha. That's why I deal in the registered business. We got paper trail with all of our stuff.
You got DNA.
Yeah, we got DNA on ours. So hey, I'm not gonna let you out of here, CT. What's the second one? Tell us.
I credit where credit's due. Number one, that's the best deer I've ever seen in my life. Number two, in all my years in the cattle business, the most money I've ever made on semen is monopoly semen. Once upon a
Sold a lot
time,
of it. You sold a lot of it for Phil Lautner.
no, one time I bought, I think there was like 300 units of that stuff, and I bought it when he was alive and producing good for like $25. And
You came in second place. Corey. You want to know the best monopoly profit margin story?
this will be
I'm gonna say this. A guy that I used to know, Chris Terembez from Charlottesville, Charlottesville, Virginia. He buys 5,000 units of monopoly from me 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months before he dies for $20 a straw. Boy, I thought I was smart whenever I walked into the bank with a $100,000 check. Didn't work out so good for me.
Holy.
What did he end up averaging on that?
I mean, we talked earlier about bleeding purple and how some people want to raise the price and keep it forever. And I got to tell you, Corey and Brandon, it doesn't bug me a bit. I mean, Monopoly didn't owe me anything at that point. I have no idea. I heard some wild numbers last week about how much semen Phil sold, and I don't know if I can believe them all, to be honest with you. But Monopoly didn't know me anything at that point in 2012 when he passed away. And I'm happy for Chris. I mean, maybe that gave him his foothold to get established and get a little land bought and, create that next, I think you make money and then you reinvest it, and you can either, there's a few people in this business that don't use the money they could make at a more modest price margin, and they kind of hold out for the big egg. You just got to make money and do good business and keep people happy. I'm not saying that I haven't made some errors in my career, but I would say we do business with the same people year after year, and I think that I'm happy for Chris. Good job, Chris. So I don't know what he made. I bet he made a couple $100,000. Did he make that much on Monopoly?
What's that?
I'm sure that Chris Trembus made a couple $100,000. Did you make that much on your Monopoly investment?
Not quite. But
Not quite.
yeah.
It's still good. It was good. I mean, that semen market and speculating on dead bulls, it's like Outsider this year. We have under 1,000 units left on him. And we took him from 50 to 100, and we'll take him to probably 250 on June 1st. If people want to buy it at 100, we'll be happy to sell it to them. But, I mean, it is what it is. Outsider doesn't owe us anything. He doesn't owe Michael Grinder anything. He's done really well, and we're going to take whatever profit we might make on Outsider and reinvest it in a new shorthorn bull right away.
There you go. Good deal. Well, Matt, it's been our pleasure to have you on here and to discuss not only Monopoly, but to discuss you and your background and MLC. It's been nice, and I've enjoyed having you on here. So
you betcha. I just had 3 more notes to write down that I wanted to make sure that I got into my deal. Top calving these sires at our business is a bull called Simplify that's old, purebred Maine. Kung Fu Panda is a half Maine triple clean out across from Kendall. And my boy, Brandon Snyder, raised the bull with a funny name, Hunter Biden's laptop, triple clean, Jesse James, Cavanese. He's real good. Yeah. So if you want to our Southern customers or anybody that doesn't know us or have never done business with us before, please check out Hawkeye and HB Laptop or Hunter Biden's laptop at currently at Stillwater, but going to Sweetwater. We want Hawkeye to get a little extra use down there in the Texas market, so we're going to take Hawkeye down to Sweetwater and let breeders look at him in person, because Hawkeye's had a good run. He's won San Antonio twice in 3 years, and had several breed champions, reserve heavyweight at OIE, and that would be pretty cool if we could get him going at 7 years old too.
Oh yeah, how about that? Yeah, no joke. Yeah, that I'd say if a guy is wanting to be a contender at San Antonio this next year, it looks like the law of averages says find you a Hawkeye. So find you a Hawkeye. So guys, thanks for being on. Telling you, awesome. Appreciate you taking the time.
Corey and Brett, can I get you on my
What you got?
podcast?
I don't know. Word
Can
on
we do
the
a
street
podcast
is-
sometime?
I might have been on there already. Word on the street, huh?
Wow, that was like
You
1
did.
minute. Let's do my claim to fame in the podcasting industry is I do 5 to 10 minute podcasts while I'm driving. So if you'd like to do one for Cattle Drive Live promotion, everything on my deal is free. So I usually would want to do it for customers, and you guys are both friends and customers, but I love Cattle Drive Live so much, and you guys do such an awesome job at some of them national shows announcing, that I would love to give you any sort of free advertising that you wanted. No big deal if you don't want to do it either. No big deal.
No, hey, I bet we can make it work. Corey will be ready to get right in the middle of it. So I think it'll be great. So, but
Thank you.
guys, thanks for being on, and we appreciate it. And as we move through this, there's no way to have the Evolution series without including the Monopoly. So, Matt, thanks. Brandon, thanks, and we'll catch you later.
Have a good night.
You bet. Well, that was good, Corey. It's always interesting to hear straight from the bull owners themselves, and so I was a little kind of hoping tonight we were going to get the pleasure to have the breeder on there, and it just didn't quite work out. But it's the way it is. So hey, we're going to wrap this thing up. I've got to get over here on my phone. We got Cattlemen's for Christ to roll up tonight. James 1:19. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And with that, I will challenge somebody that is listening. The first person that can text me what Matthew 7:12 is, I will see to it that we give you a shout out on here and on next week's deal. So first person to text me what Matthew 7:12 is, that goes with tonight's episode, we'll make sure we give you a shout out for listening in. So Corey, what's up for next week?
Hey, we're going to kind of wrap this deal up for the current bulls of the industry with Wade Rogers, with Here I Am, and then with Brandon Horn with In God We Trust.
Absolutely.
Going to bring it around for full circle.
I sure hope you're ready for next Monday night. I'm going to be hoarse from doing all this talking tonight. I'm going to have you kind of come get in there, spur this thing along a little bit. So
I'll listen to that Bible verse of yours tonight, I guess.
yeah, you'll need to listen to that and sure get your Bible out and find Matthew 7:12. So with that being said, guys, next week Brandon Horn is the evolution of the famous white bulls, and Wade Rogers and what he's done in this business to the current day. So guys, thanks. We appreciate your time following on the Cattle Drive with the Evolution. Appreciate it.